I love that powerful, inspirational, motivational music. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad that you are here, either joining me live or listening to this recording. Welcome. What do we got here today? Let me know that you are here in the chat. This stream is so much better when we are engaged, when we are connecting, when we are, when I know how my feedback is helping you. So, hey, what's up, Jewel? How's it going? Long time no chat. So nice to see you. Glad you're here. I had to do some schedule adjusting, so thank you for your patience. And I'm really excited. Hey, what's up? See, look, I got to go like this now to read. Daco and Zen 1. I know that sounds right. I got to pronounce that out phonetically. What's up, Zen 1? Welcome, welcome. So glad you are here. So there's I got some plans. I always have a plan of what I want to talk about, and I want to hear from you, please. So if you let me know what's going on in your life, where you're struggling. The Chosen One. Ta-da! There we go. Welcome, The Chosen One and Jewel. So glad you guys are here. And look forward to spending some time with you and making this a productive time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And here it is. Welcome to Aggressive Pursuits, a broadcast to help you live a purpose-driven life. And whatever your affliction, your addiction, your almost addiction, your mediocrity, your malaise, the cure is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. It's getting addicted to a great life. And let me tell you why. And I know that sounds totally cliche, and there's a part of me that feels like I'm a cliche when I say that. Because here's the golden rule of behavior modification, right? I used to think it was break a habit, make a habit. And that's true, but there's more to it than that. And it is because it is to break a habit, you have to make the right habit that meets the right need. And let me say that again with this somber music in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it a little teeny tiny bit. To break a habit, you have to make the right habit that meets the right need. It's not just any habit it's going to do. It's not just to stop doing this. I just have to do that. It doesn't work like that. And the reason for that is, so I've been working on, listen, I'll get to the mantra in a second. But first, all right, a little bit about me. I'm your host and former addict, Craig Perra, addict, former addict, whatever you want to call me. Although not active in addiction, I'm active in pursuing a great life. I'm a coach. I've been working with addicts all over the world professionally for the past 8 years, and I built a behavior change system called the Mindful Habit that I now train to counselors and therapists all over the world. I've been officially addicted to literally everything, uppers, downers, alcohol, weed, sex, porn, pills, heroin, meth for a little bit, and definitely Ritalin. I'm obsessed with habits and success. I needed to be in order to pull myself out of the gutter that I was heading towards. And today, we're going to talk about how to use our triggers as a gift. So I'm going to say that one more time because I want your reaction. Please, Jewel, The Chosen One, what do you think when you hear we're going to use our triggers as gifts? When someone first presented that concept to me, I mocked that person. I said that was some mumbo-jumbo spiritual, turn that frown upside down bullshit. And please don't waste my time. Like, it sounds ridiculous. How in the hell could these triggers that brought me to my knees, that had me doing things that I just can't even fathom, hard to even talk about, hard to even think about, and how could I use these gifts as opportunities. And so I was offended. I thought that was ridiculous, and Jewel might be curious too. Okay, first, a disclaimer and a warning, and this is serious. It's serious because, well, let me give it to you, and please take this to heart. Here's what I've learned over the course of the past 8 years in helping people and trying to move them from here to there and to do it as quickly as possible and do it with tools that build sustainability for as long as possible. And here's what I learned. I learned that not every program is for everyone. Addiction is serious business. Lives are at stake. You must do, I beg you to do what works best for you. This is a buffet. Please take what works and throw away the rest. It's not medical advice. It is not a replacement for medical advice. And please, if you need professional help, get it. I don't know your situation. I don't have all the facts. And because of that, some of the advice that I am going to give might actually be harmful. And I'm selling you something. I have a program that helps people struggling with compulsive behavior. No surprise. Not that that's going to change what I'm saying to you, but I just want you to be aware of that. And the flip side to that is, though, I didn't connect with 12 steps. I thought that made me bad. To me, it was slow, inefficient. I didn't connect with the religious aspect of it, the concept of surrendering and powerless. I didn't connect with, and so I found something else that worked for me, and that's what hopefully you're doing here, finding something else that works for you, and that's what this program is. This broadcast, Aggressive Pursuits, the mindful habit system that I created, was born in failure, my failure, and those failures produced this program. A structured path to getting your needs met in a healthy, constructive way. All right, let me turn this music down here. There we go. It's a little more than a background. Okay. Good. All right, so before we get into my discussion on triggers as being gifts, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything in your life that I can help you with? And are there any questions that you have? And while you're thinking of that questions, I'm going to give you a way to think easy, to make it easy for you. Ask me the dumb question. So my tagline, I run a forum for all my guys in my group coaching program. My tagline of all the things I could possibly put there is, dumb questions are great questions. Listen, how many times have you been in a situation, maybe professionally, maybe personally, where you had a question and then you're like, you know what, I got to ask, because if I don't ask, it's going to make a big mess for myself and I'm going to screw something up and it's going to be worse to clean up on the back end. I'm going to ask that question. You asked a question, then other people go, oh, thank God you asked that question. But you thought it was a dumb question. So if you have a dumb question, this whole broadcast and stream, we could have the most amazing conversation with the chosen one, Jewel, if you ask me your dumb question. So please, don't hesitate. Even if I'm talking, I'll see it. I got the thing right in front of me that tells me, aha, someone asked me a question. So don't hesitate. So as this broadcast, this stream, which I also I recorded and set it up as a podcast, this Aggressive Pursuits, I've been thinking about, what do I want to talk about? And so I started this idea of, what if this was the only time in the week that you dedicated to self-help. I hope it's not. But if you're here, right, I mean, come on, I got to bring value. Your time is your most precious resource. I need to bring value. So I've been thinking of the mindful habit system 10 years in the future. In 10 years in the future, the Mindful Habits System is a recognized evidence-based behavior change modality. They're training for local people, local facilitators. People get that training online, and they run meetings on the phone and in person all over the world. Right? So that's where my mind goes. That's the potential that I see with this program, and that's going to make it affordable. My programs are expensive. I'm sorry. We do have scholarships, and we provide an incredible level of value. So that's my vision on where this goes. So let's pretend that once a week you went to this meeting, what do we need to do to make it the most valuable as we possibly can? And so what I want to do is but talk about a few of the chapters, like the agenda items in that meeting, what I think is really important, what I think you should be talking about, and then we'll jump into the main topic. So first, like any good meeting, it needs a prayer. It needs a mantra. So I want to read for you the mantra that I wrote and borrowed. It's not all mine. So first, here it is, right? And so this is a work in progress, but I wanted to think of what words do I need to say? Do you need to say? Do you need to repeat? To remind you of like snap out of it, man. Like, come on. And here it is. This is one of the shocking this includes a really powerful and sometimes shocking realization I'm so glad the chosen ones in the self study program. Awesome, man. I'm so happy to hear that, and I love it. That's what I want this to be. Let me give you some feedback on that, and I'm going to answer your question. Let's read the mantra and the prayer first. So this is, welcome to the Mindful Habits weekly meeting, and let's all get together. Now, again, work in progress, okay? Here it is. Repeat after me if you want. I am a needs-seeking organism. My needs either get met proactively or reactively, subconsciously. I recognize, this is important, that all of my bad habits are meeting needs in my life. Try explaining that one to some of your partners. It's true, though. I recognize that all of my bad habits are meeting needs in my life, all of them. And that might be shocking if you're new here, but I promise you it's my truth. I commit to learning how to meet my needs in a healthy, constructive way to live a purpose-driven life. That's part one of the mantra, or part one of the prayer. Part two is I borrowed from the Serenity Prayer. That's just too good to leave on the table. And it also represents my own journey of coming around to appreciate the obvious benefits of this most incredible, amazing, free program. There was a time early in my recovery where it didn't work for me, and the sex addiction model wasn't adopted by the APA, and there's this other group that says it's actually negligent. True, and it's an amazing place where there's incredible healing that happens. And especially as if I've diversified onto helping people with some of my other addictions, food, drugs. It's an important place. So part two, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This next line I love. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Your triggers are a pathway to peace, and I'm going to prove it to you in this broadcast. Let me first get to that chosen one's question. What would you say is the very best distraction already off track? Now, allow me to be animated, man, right? I'm having fun with you. Off track distraction. In a way to fight an urge off. See, here's why I react that way. The reason I react that way is because too many people see the model is I need to create a distraction so I don't do the thing. No, you want to create a life for yourself where that is the distraction, where that distracts you from your purpose, that distracts you from your power, that robs you of that core strength of self-control that you're using to create a great life. Let me finish reading the question, but I just wanted to say that. And to fight an urge off. Urge that leads to want you to go and grab your phone and look up porn to satisfy that urge, personally speaking and professionally speaking. So, first of all, currently in week 2 of the self-help program, I promise you by week 4, 5, you will have a thorough, comprehensive understanding on exactly what you need to do. So first, and I'm going to give you like how about this? I'm going to give you a quick 4-step process that you can take with you now, and then when you're learning the material, the chosen one, then you can know that you're in the important place where it's, there's certain places where you need to pay more attention than others. So first is, what would you say is the very best distraction and way to fight an urge off? And that is by creating a life for yourself where watching porn is the distraction. That's an easy answer, cliched answer. Let me go a little bit deeper and let me get a little specific. Number 2 is understanding the needs that this behavior is meeting. So the chosen one, Jewel, like it's when you, how old are you? Let me know in the chat how old you are, please. When you step back and when you think about the role that pornography has played in your life, 51, got it, yeah, 51, okay? When you think how pornography was there for you at your lowest points, when you think of how you use this medium to deal, to function, to escape, to work through anxiety and stress, also known as fear, it's worthy of a shrine. And I don't mean that in any sacrilegious way. I mean that if you truly appreciate and understand the role that pornography played in your life to help you deal and get through and function, it's worthy of a shrine. It was there for you at your lowest points. There was one thing that you had, one thing that you could turn to when you were depressed, when you were sad, when you were low, and you thought of maybe offing yourself, or maybe wishing you got hit by a car when you're driving because you feel so low and depressed. You had this. You had that video. You had that escape. You had that way to numb, cope, and escape. So pardon the drama, but I want to like look at what you're trying to stop doing. It's not a little thing. It's a big thing. It's a monster thing, and it has served a purpose. So that's step 1. You're going to get to that section, positive attributes. In the positive attributes section, I asked you guys, what are the positive attributes of your worst bad habit? So now we're talking about porn. But if it was drugs, it would be the same thing. If it was anger, it's the same exercise. If you shut down, it's the same exercise. If you're a compulsive liar, same exercise. What are the positive attributes of your compulsive sexual behavior? And here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to share with you an article that contains some examples of what other men have done with this program. And other men have figured out what are their positive attributes, okay? Copy link. I'm going to put that in the chat for you. And so you have it. And when you look at the positive attributes, when you think of the escape that it provides, when you think of the immense and intense pleasure, when some men it makes them feel normal and suppressing it feels abnormal at times, helps them deal with stress, helps them manage fear. It's excitement. It gives them something to look forward to, a rush of adrenaline. And here's one gentleman said, it allows me to enjoy other women while still remaining a committed husband. That's before he realized that it's actual digital infidelity. Enjoyment and pleasure. This guy followed the woman on social media, the actresses, the porn stars. They felt a connection to them. So it was meeting a really core, powerful need. Helped him relax, gave him something to look forward to. And last but not least, here's what he said. This is the best answer in the entire document. It's mine. It is mine after dealing with all the other responsibilities of life, work, family, church, temple, synagogue, whatever. I have this. It's mine. And that's the best answer I've ever heard on this assignment. And that's why I keep in this example, because I need you to appreciate it's mine. It's like Gollum in the Ring, right? What a perfect allegory for this bad habit. So step one, positive attributes. Step two is habit cycle. Those needs are manifesting in your life in a very specific way over and over and over again. That is your habit cycle. We spend up to 80% of our waking hours stuck in a habit cycle. You're going to learn exactly what each phase of that habit cycle is. But to summarize here, trigger. Energy shift in the body from positive to negative, followed by thoughts. The automatic, instantaneous thoughts that pops into your head. And then action. Then you do something. You're going to learn specifically, the chosen one and Jewel, how to create space between thought and action. Okay? The other thing that you're going to do in the program is, so that's a specific in the moment response. What if you're able to identify that you act out like all the time in this time limit? Because what I find is the 80-20 rule applies. 80% of the bad stuff is happening in 20% of the time. Sometimes it's even worse, like 90-10. 90% of the compulsive sexual behavior is happening in 10% of the time. You're going to create a red zone plan. That's your red zone between 6 and 8 at night when my wife's away. That's when I'm most vulnerable. Well, to break a habit, you have to make the right habit that meets the right need. So what are you going to do during that red zone itself? So positive attributes, habit cycle, red zone, and listen, we haven't even gone deep yet. There's a reason why you are trained to meet that need in this way. That's where we do our depth work. That's as we go back and family of origin, root cause, unmet needs, heavy lifting. You're going to learn how to write a voice dialogue. You're going to learn you're going to bring to life your addict. And I can't wait to read those voice dialogues. You're going to have to post them here, and I'm going to give you feedback. Because it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful transition where men go from this, they've demonized this part of themselves. Not only have they demonized this part of themselves, they've diseasified this part of themselves. This part of them has a disease. What do you do with disease? You cut it off like a cancer. That's the last thing you need to do, because I'm going to teach you to love your addict. Because when you understand where this addict part comes from, now listen, it might be too early for you to receive this lesson. All I ask is that you trust me and keep going. Keep going. Give me 30 days. Give me 30 days to keep going. Hey, what the heck is this lunatic talking about loving my addict? However, when you understand where this part of you came from, where these and forget it, you're in a relationship where the lying came from, your ability to compartmentalize, where that came from, where the lack of empathy, where'd that come from? There's always an input that creates the output. And when men put this addict, rip it, come inside, rip it up, and put them next to them and, engage this part of themselves, brothers, it comes from pain. Your behavior is numbing, coping, and escaping from pain. This isn't a sexual issue. This isn't that maybe there's a libido component to it, but I've never worked with a client who had a primary problem that had anything to do with sex ever. Think about that, ever. 8 years, 27 countries. I have never worked with a client who primarily had a sex problem, who primarily had a drug problem, who primarily had a booze problem, blah, 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 blah. No, the behavior is the symptom, and it is meeting needs. So you asked a simple question. I gave you not a simple answer, because that simple answer, it wouldn't have done it justice. I only got a limited amount of time here to talk to you, that chosen one, and I want to impress upon you how awesome the opportunity is. Because think about it, if you're able to dial up your performance in getting your needs met in a healthy, constructive way, having some tools to interrupt that automatic, instantaneous reaction, that's life-changing. That is absolutely life-changing. And now, perfect segue. Well, let me stop there. I'm going to take a sip of water. Let me know if you have any comments, if you have any feedback. Let me know what you think of the advice that I gave you. Good, bad, ugly. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Ask me more questions. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Ask me more questions. I am unable to see who is here, so I'm sorry about that. I'd love to be able to call you out and say hi and all that good stuff. So good. Hey, Tinker is here. Welcome. So now your triggers are gifts. That is the most ridiculous, asinine thing at one point in my life that I had ever heard. And please let me know in the chat if when I say, today I'm going to tell you how to use your triggers as gifts. Like, are you thinking what I thought, which is, would someone please shove this, turn this frown upside down bullshit up this guy's ass? Like, that's literally, and listen, I was a coach. I was doing this professionally. This was early in my career, and someone much wiser than me said, you got to learn to use your triggers as gifts. You mean the gifts that brought me to my 3-day inpatient where I OD'd on bath salts and had to be hospitalized because I was out of control and got fired from my second job? What, the same triggers that had me at the shitty hotels in downtown Sacramento with sketchy people using drugs and when I had a beautiful family at home? You mean those triggers? Ridiculous. That was my reaction. I remember being a little bit angry. Let me know what you think of that. Just your reaction to the statement, using your triggers as gifts. Let me know what you think about that. So, first, let me define a trigger. Second, I want to tell you exactly what I mean, okay? Trigger. The way I define a trigger is the energy shift in the body from positive to negative. Now, there are positive triggers as well. Right now, we're focusing on the negative triggers. Let's see. The chosen one says, I just opened up a door to my life that has brought me a lot of pain. And from my reading, I understand I was trying to numb and hide this part of my life. And I'm now ready to create the absolutely best life for myself and my family. The chosen one, you are the chosen one, man. I'm so happy to read that. It's so powerful. And it's why the program is so important, because that realization alone, unfortunately, doesn't drive sustainability. Right? There were so many times in my life where I'd have these sky opening, tears pouring down my face, realizations, and then I found myself screwing up a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, because that alone does not drive sustainability. One aspect of recovery and great living that drives sustainability is using your triggers as opportunities. So trigger, energy shift in the body from positive to negative. I'd like you to think now and share with me in the chat what triggers you. Right? It might be your partner says something to you that upsets you. Right? You might realize the work that you have to do and the 50,000 things that you haven't done, and energy shift in the body from positive to negative. You might be driving and someone cuts you off and you get triggered. Energy shift in the body from positive to negative. That energy shift in the body from positive to negative was trained. There's a purely physical component to it, but we get triggered based upon our experiences. So what if, and listen, every time you get triggered, there's an unmet need. I want you to think about that for a second. Every time you get triggered, there is an unmet need. So triggers are an opportunity to learn how to redirect habits. Yes, and I want to go a step further, Tinker, is that triggers are needs indicators. Look, we got boredom, stress, doing something dumb and getting in trouble for it. Trigger. My wife triggers me. I'm working on removing the knee-jerk reaction. There's a knee-jerk reaction. That same reaction you're having to your wife is the same reaction you likely had to your mother, likely had to your father. You feel small, like you've done something wrong. And what do those triggers do? Those triggers drive you to meet a need, but in an unhealthy, self-destructive way. Those triggers drive you to meet a need in an unhealthy, self-destructive way. You get triggered from work. The chosen ones is telling you at home. You're not getting rid of them. There's no universe where you are going to get rid of those triggers, but you can treat them as needs indicators. Meaning, I'll tell you, my trigger response, you're going to learn a detailed trigger response plan in the program. Don't learn that, okay? This comes in phases. I'm giving you something to think about, because it's one of those things that, oh, it sounds nice. I've trusted Craig before. He said other things to me that seem good. I'm really digging his program, whatever. But I don't really get it. And that's very natural. If that's you, that's fine. But you will. You will. You will come to see that every time you get triggered, you need something. And so if you're able to use your awareness of that trigger to meet that need in a healthy, constructive way, you have dramatically changed your life. You have taken that trigger, which brought you to whatever low place that you've been. I know the low places I've been. Low. And every time there was a triggers pounding, get worse and worse and worse and worse. That's when you understand that numbing, coping, and escaping, when you understand the positive attributes of your compulsive sexual behavior or whatever your addiction is. By the way, apply this to any bad habit. Anger, perfect. Anger is serving a purpose. Anger is meeting a need. Your porn is serving a purpose, is meeting a need. You're shutting down emotionally when your wife comes at you. She's upset. Shutting down is meeting a need. Losing yourself in video games, which are wonderful, by the way. I love video games, but I used to lose myself in them and was, addicted. We staying up till 4 a.m, got to work the next day. World of Warcraft. Okay, maybe I can wait the next day to get the fancy sword or whatever. It's been a while since I played that, and Diablo. That was another game I used to love to play back in law school. So I want you to spend just the next 24 hours. I don't want to interrupt your program. I just want to add on top of what you're learning and just have you observing and asking yourself, when you get triggered, what do you need? That's what I do. Every time I get triggered, my trigger response plan is, what do I need? In that moment where I am feeling low, when I'm tempted and pulled to do something. And listen, let me tell you something about triggers. I have never been as triggered as I've been over the past 14 days as I've been in years. The walls are closing in. Kids aren't going back to school. So many problems, not doing the things I used to do, not going to the gym, lost the socialness of yoga. So many things are off right now. The 24-hour news cycle, which is absolutely poisonous. I don't watch it. It might take me a day or two to catch up with the news. I read, as best as I can, unbiased sources to protect my sanity and my sobriety and my success. And whenever those triggers start boom, 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 what do you need? And I invite you to ask yourself that question, because I promise you that you will see that your triggers, the same ones that have brought you to the depths of hell, those triggers are your needs indicators. That's your body's way of telling you that you need something. The problem is that we have no conditioning to meet that need in a healthy, constructive way. And that's what you learn in the program, by understanding the positive attributes of these bad habits. It's a tough one, right? It's a very difficult topic to talk about with your partner. I've seen and been part of many awkward conversations. What do you mean it's meeting a need? Just do the assignment yourself before you're talking about it with anybody. Do it yourself, and you will see that this behavior is meeting a need. And if it's meeting a need, then those triggers are the precursor to those needs being met in an unhealthy, constructive way. That means that the trigger is needs indicators. If you can see your triggers as needs indicators, then you can find the gift in your triggers. You welcome them. You welcome that notification. You are grateful for the alarm clock that your body has that tells you, hey, you're off. You don't believe me? Boom, here comes another trigger. You sure you're not? Boom, another one. I know, until you listen. Slowing down your triggers, paying attention to your habit cycle is so you can start listening to your body. You need something, and it's up to you in that moment to meet that need in a healthy, constructive way. So, meditation, the chosen one in the chat, is absolutely helping me understand my needs in the morning, which is also my red zone. That's what meditation does, right? It slows down the habit. So there's a couple things that it does. It reduces the stress, a lot of things that it does. And I can't articulate all the things that it does, but I know it reduces the stress level cortisol. It makes you more reflective. Instead of getting swept away into the undertow of the first thought that you have, it gives you the opportunity to hiccup or a speed bump. So if you meditate in the morning, well, later on, you're going to be able to exercise more self-control because you meditated in the morning. Mindfulness is critical to help you use those triggers as gifts. Your triggers that have brought you to your knees are gifts. Oh, Tinker, talking about too much downer coronavirus. I am so proud in my group program. I have avoided political discussions successfully. For 8 years, I've been coaching guys, and the group program has been around for almost 6. And there was one call where someone made a comment, we do not talk politics here. I don't care if you're running for office. And I'm proud of that. I am. I really, really am proud. And you know what the beautiful thing is? Is that addiction doesn't discriminate. And I've had the privilege of working with guys in Pakistan, in Iraq. Sometimes he's here. The countries that the United States has invaded. Countries of, and you know what these guys want, brothers? You know what they want? I didn't hear them chant death to America once. They want to be better fathers. They want to be better husbands. They want to be better workers. They want a better life for their family. And it's just such a beautiful experience and a privilege that I've had to work with people from every religious background all over the world. And all struggling with this deep, dark shame, this part of themselves that has taken over. And well, listen, I'm so glad you guys are here. Really, really do whatever you can to protect yourself and ask yourself: am I putting something in my body that's healthy? And that includes what you put in your ears. That includes what you put in your eyes, and that's what you read and what you watch. Is it adding value to your life? Is it entertaining you? Is it making you smile? Is it giving you information that you need as a man to be your best self? And I think the answer will be, most of the time when you're stuck on that news feed, oh my God, listen, if you want to get triggered, right? I mean, let's just jump into the comment section on a Yahoo article or go get on a Facebook feed of someone who does not politically aligned with you. Now, you're gonna go crazy. You're literally gonna lose your mind. And that's what those triggers are. While you're losing your mind, is saying, hey, I need something. I need something. And just feel it, need it, right? You just pay attention. And so when you make that connection, when you make the connection that, beyond, oh, my triggers are gifts and no, I'm not talking about turn your frown upside down. I am talking about hijacking the mechanism of triggers, period. Changing your perspective on them, not trying to get rid of them, embracing them, being grateful for them, celebrating them, thanking the universe or God for giving you this, whoa, wait, I need something, this mechanism that can empower you from this day forward as an opportunity to meet your needs in a healthy, constructive way. The Chosen One says, I can only imagine the rewarding feeling of creating that beautiful life we always wanted, and sitting back, watching your family be happy and proud of you as a father and as a husband. Yeah. That is such a great feeling, man. It is such an amazing feeling. And I want to throw something out there so you know how much alike we are. I still feel like a piece of shit. There are times when I feel like a piece of shit. In fact, I have a training, not in the core training. It's one we do later on, where it's basically you will, and excuse if my language bothers anybody, I apologize, but you will feel like a piece of shit again. You will feel low. You will feel down. You will feel like you've never done any work on yourself. That's okay. That will happen. But when you learn about your different parts, and I can't wait till you guys get to positive. This is what I hope next. We're going to do this again next Tuesday, guys. So keep making progress in the program. Share with me your red zone plan. Share with me your positive attribute exercise. Share with me right in the chat. We'll talk about it together. We'll pick on somebody. And if you want to join the call, you want to talk about it, let's do that too. Now, I know not everyone is into doing that, but if you're interested in talking anonymous, not your face, but you want to work through some of these things on one of these for the benefit of you and for the people who are listening, great. We'll do that too. But bring your red zone plan, bring your goals, bring your Kaizen Kaizen goals, bring your positive attribute exercise, and maybe by next week you'll be maybe towards habit cycle, and then we're going to get to the voice dialogues, and I'm so excited to use this format to really create something special. And so not only can you imagine that rewarding feeling of creating that beautiful life that you've always wanted, as Tinker says, envisioning it and feeling it. And I encourage you to listen to my last broadcast, or the one before, on purpose. Did you happen to hear the one I did on purpose? I loved it. I loved it for me because it really reminded me of I need to keep that purpose light burning bright. See, I say to myself, well, I'm in my purpose every day. Yeah, that's true. And there were a couple of really great questions that help remind me and drive home exactly what that purpose is. And having that purpose, knowing your why, gives you like a beacon. It's like a lighthouse in a storm. Life is going to challenge you. And sometimes some of you guys, right, maybe you found me after a low point. I'm sorry, but you're going to feel lower. There's going to be a point in your life where you're going to feel lower. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm saying that because the chances are that you have not experienced your greatest fear and your worst pain. Maybe you did. Maybe you did, but chances are you haven't. Does that mean you give up and throw in the towel? No. Knowing that my dog is going to pass away before me, God willing, does that mean I love him any less? No, I love him even more. That's what Aggressive Pursuits is all about, aggressively pursuing a great life. Having that light in front of you that guides you, that pulls you when it gets hard. Not if life gets hard, when it gets hard. To help so you don't get your needs met reactively. You get your needs met proactively by aggressively pursuing a great life, because we've aggressively pursued our addiction. We aggressively got our needs met in a terribly unhealthy, self-destructive, pain-inflicting way. You got to bring that same energy to meeting those needs like obsessively, like a crazy person, but in a good way. In a good way. So you can meet those needs in a healthy, constructive way. So you can aggressively pursue a great life. So ask me your questions. I'm so glad I was able to give you guys the access to my new Aggressive Pursuits program. Hey, Fade to Black. Great song by Metallica. I'm so glad you are here. Look, Fade to Black. The chosen one. Look at his question. Should I do it again? The whole skit. Go back. Were you here earlier? Go back and listen. This as soon as I'm done, you'll have the broadcast. So what do you do when you have a strong urge? So let me tell you just really quick what this stream was about. First, the stream was about to teach you how to use your triggers as needs indicators. In other words, to use your triggers as your body's way of telling you you need something instead of leading you down a path of self-destruction and failure. So That was the primary purpose of or primary subject that we talked about. But also we had some great Q&A earlier in the program. What do you do when you get that strong urge? So I answered that question. I hope I answered it in a great, great, great way, and I hope you get value from it. But it's when you think about the need so what's going on when you have a strong need? When you have a strong need, what's going on? That means you've been triggered, and you're triggered to meet a need in an unhealthy, self-destructive way. So there's so much power in understanding what needs are being met by your compulsive sexual behavior. It is meeting important, powerful needs. And that's the part that, when I think of over the years what themes have grown, I'll tell you a couple things. Number one, helping people 8 years now. Am I closer to the disease-based model? Because very early in my career, I was a rebel against it, and I was actually kind of a dick about it, to be honest with you. If you go back and listen to some of my old podcasts, just being frustrated, being angry that everyone kept telling me to do this thing, and I wasn't, and I did it, and it didn't work. Right? So there was anger. And I really connected with a guy by the name of Dr. David Ley. He wrote the book, The Myth of Sex Addiction. And listen, there's a reason why sex addiction and porn addiction is not in the DSM after being studied for 5 years. There is a reason why the World Health Organization chose the phrase compulsive sexual behavior, not to brag, but that's the phrase that I've been using for a very, very long time, almost 7 years, because words matter. When you invoke an addiction, you've got a disease, and that disease, you want to kill that part. You want to get rid of that disease. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. That's the worst thing that you can possibly do. You have to learn to love that broken, wounded part of you that takes over when you lose control and meet those needs in an unhealthy, self-destructive way. So that is, I without going through it again, Fade to Black, check it out. I think you're really, really, really going to like it because it's easy for me to give you like a habit answer. Well, do something else. Break a habit, you have to make a habit. Okay, but when you think of the role, and you guys heard this before, when you think of the role that this behavior has played in your life, how it has rescued you from your darkest time, when it was this pleasurable, fun, exciting thing that you had when you were a little boy, when your escape, your secret place, this salve that you rubbed on the wounds, and how it helped you cope. It is worthy of a shrine. It is worthy of a statue. It deserves your respect. Don't demonize it. Because when you demonize it, you demonize you. Doesn't mean you can't be an advocate. Doesn't mean you can't be a strong opponent against it. And you must understand the purpose and role that it served. Because when you understand the purpose and role that you serve, you might start beating yourself up for failing, first of all. Just stop. Well, hold on a second. Please. This behavior has met incredible needs in your life in ways that, bring a tear to your eye when you think about it. If you could bring yourself back and put you in those shoes and see what was happening, it is powerful. It is powerful. And so listen, pardon the drama. It's easy to demonize it It's easy to reject it. It's very easy to diseaseify it. But the fact of the matter is that part of you that gets triggered into existence when something bad happens and you feel like a piece of shit and you want to numb, cope, and escape, that's the part of you that needs love. That's the part of you that needs to be trained in a healthy way to meet these needs. And let's face it, I think we got all guys here. Hello? How were you trained about meeting needs, your emotional needs as a child? Suck it up, bitch. Stop being such a pussy, faggot. Excuse my use of those words, please. I meant them to be offensive. They are horribly offensive. But those are the voices in our heads. Those are the voices in my head when I think of needs. I teach this stuff. Every day I teach this stuff. And when I'm talking about needs and love for self, there's that voice. Get the fuck out of here, right? Like, it's right there. Right there. There it is. Hold on. You're not in charge anymore, bro. No. Your way does not work. Didn't help me make my relationship better. Didn't help me channel the warrior spirit. Like you, I wasn't trained at all. And you add a monogamous, long-term, complicated relationship on top of all that. Whoo, we're lucky we made it this far, brothers. We're lucky we made it this far. But we did make it this far. Thank you so much for joining me. So glad that you guys were here. You definitely made this a lot of fun. I hope you got a lot from it. Please join me next Tuesday, 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. And if anybody is listening to this program, let's see if we got the new website. No, not yet. Yeah, please, and come bring your assignments. Let me give you feedback. Let me help you tear these assignments up, evaluate them. Other people here will get some great feedback from it. So we can really turn the stream into something special. Remember, as a need-seeking organism, to break a habit, you have to make the right habit that meets the right need, and you got to feed the right wolf. All right, before I sign off, let me answer a couple of last-minute questions. The link that I shared earlier. So the link that I shared earlier was the link on, here we go. Let me just copy this. Command C, Command V. There we go. I think that's it. Yeah, there it is. So the link that I just shared, Techno Tim up in his house. So the link that I just shared is some examples of the positive attribute exercise. The positive attribute exercise is a concept that you can apply to any bad habit. And any one of your bad habits is a trained, conditioned response designed to meet needs. And make no mistake, you find the bad habit, together we will figure out what needs it is meeting. Thank you for joining me on Aggressive Pursuits, the cure for your affliction, for your addiction, for your mediocrity, malaise, your underachievement is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. Thank you for feeding the right wolf with me. I'll see you guys next week. Later, guys.